Hey guys, welcome to the Cast and Spear podcast. My name is John, and we're back with the coach. We are going to be talking about surf fishing lures, everything you need to know to catch fish here in Southern California on the artificials. Hey coach, welcome back to the show.
Pleasure, man. My pleasure.
All right, so I know a lot of guys love their Lucky Crafts. There's the SP Minnows. There's a bunch of different things, but these are kind of newer here. I mean, there's like Crocodiles back in the day, and they're still being used. What do we need to know when it comes to just the artificial game?
It really depends on what you want to target. I mean, you can talk about the LCs for halibut, etc. Obviously, those guys have the game dialed in. But if you're just trying to catch a few fish, Crocodiles, Deadly Dick, Castmaster XL, um, the Daiwa Salt Pro Minnow. I mean, hard to beat, in my opinion.
Do you have ones that generally outperform others? Like I know I think what is it, the electric grunion or whatever for the Lucky Craft is a popular favorite. But do you have any specific color patterns? Is it usually silvers work great, blues and whites, full whites? What's good?
Well, I'm not a guy that casts Lucky Crafts, but I hear the various berry type colors are money. I hear about the Castmaster XLs in blue and or black and purple. I hear about the Deadly Dicks, but to me, all of them, any sort of chrome or holographic sticker, you can do well. The LCs, that berry color, ghost sardine. I mean, I hear a lot of colors are good. I don't think color is nearly as important as matching your action or being able to produce a certain type of wobble.
Do you have any recommendations for how to practice getting that right retrieve for the various different lures? Like, how do you know what you're looking for? Do you just kind of go to a dock and just kind of see how it swims and then just try to match that?
Well, I mean, I guess that's one way, but really, ultimately speaking, there's no replacement for time on the water. Recently on SD Fish, there was a dude who was posting about, well, I put 8 hours or 10 hours into the LC, and I haven't really seen those results. Dude, you're talking about 50 or 100 hours, not 8 or 10 hours. I mean, you have to put it in time with some of these lures for sure.
Absolutely. And then, do you know of any lures for those guys who might be listening that might not be in the West Coast that you like, or maybe some that are from other places that the West Coast guys could maybe try that it's just not as popular here?
Dude, sure, the West Coast guys, those East Coast guys have it nailed.
What are
They're
they using?
throwing the Deadly Dick. They're throwing the Deadly Dick. They're throwing the Castmaster XL. They're casting certain lead lures with the rubber tube. I mean, those would all work great here, but the East Coast guys, they've got it dialed in. What is Oh man, I hate even to even say it, but what was that rod I was casting of yours the other day?
Oh, that was the breakaway 10-6 Omega, I think.
Dude, dude, that rod casting so sweet. If I put a Deadly Dick on that thing, I could have cast it 130 yards if my arm wasn't jacked. But now, I mean, the East Coast guys have it super dialed in terms of in terms of lure choice and what they're doing, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, us West Coast guys, it's a little more complicated, a little more convoluted. So I mean, we got to watch for birds. We got to do this and that. That castaway rod was so sweet in my head.
Awesome. Is there any other lures that we should think about, consider, or cover in this episode?
Well, I mean, the standard here in SoCal is the LC, well, the Lucky Craft, either a Flashman at 110 or one of the deeper diving jerkbaits. Personally, I really don't think the LC is that good of a lure. Compared to the Crocodile, Castmaster XL, Deadly Dick, etc., etc. They don't cast that well. I mean, they do have nice action, but it's not that critical and shallow. I really think that the LC and its counterparts are oversold. Then again, it seems to work, and some guys really stick with it and put the wood down. So it might be a direction some guys look to.
One fish that's always a challenge for me more than it should, for whatever reason, is the halibut. Would you still recommend a crocodile for that, or I know a lot of guys just do like drop shots and things like that. What do you like to use for halibut?
If you were really up to me and you're really choosing halibut, I put a size 12 or 14 hook on and use live bait. I mean, I'm just saying if it were my choice, that's what I would do.
Now, one more thing before to wrap up this episode. Do you find that there is like a cultural prestige or something that people think that catching it on like a lure is better than catching it on live bait, or is it just, personal preference, or all that stuff is nonsense, it's just catching fish?
I think it is a cultural phenomenon, especially with the lucky crafts. Um, I mean, lucky crafts do work, but they aren't the be all the end all that some fishermen would lay claim to, I think. So, I mean, ultimately, it's up to the individual angler and what they're willing to do. Of course, as always. I mean, whether you chum in 2 pounds of hot dog buns and then you use a size 14 to catch smelt that you put out on bait, or whether you're too lazy to bother with all that and you just cast the LC because you like it, or crocodile, whatever. I mean, it's ultimately personal preference. On the other hand, here in Southern California, fishing is fashion. So you got to take that into account too.
Hey, just one more thing before you go. Would you find it helpful to get a few fishing tips and tricks sent straight to your inbox? Well, if so, head over to castandspear.com/join and sign up for our weekly newsletter. Tight lines.